Welcome. We got a pretty good crowd in here. Look out, Taylor Swift. We're gonna do like the Eras tour for our local government. I'll be in the Rockaways next week. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I want to start by wishing all who are observing Ramadan Mubarak. And I want to wish everybody happy Women's History Month. We're going to be highlighting some great women leaders here today. Will you give it up for our amazing MC, Deborah Lee Santos? Un aplauso, señores. She is first and foremost a critical leader in local journalism here in New York, and she's a pretty solid MC too. Deborah Lee, are you available for weddings and bar mitzvahs? Let us know. Let us know. Would you give it up for the amazing artists who are presented here, the Phoenix Dancers, the Paul Taylor Dance Company, and especially the young artists of LaGuardia High School. Y a mi hermano mayor, Adriano Espaillat, será hermano mayor. Would you give it up for this amazing leader, Congressmember Adriano Espaillat, who, despite what the evil bigots have been saying online, is an American patriot who fights for this city, state, and country every day, and I'm so proud to have us representing us. Thank you, Adriano. Give it up for the Dean of the New York Congressional Delegation, Jerry Nadler. Liberal lion. You can't get any more West Side than Jerry Nadler. So grateful for his leadership today. And to a fearless and brave prosecutor, my friend, the district attorney of the Borough of Manhattan. Give it up for Alvin Bragg. By far the most popular elected official in Manhattan. I'm vying for number 2. Love you, Alvin. He had to leave, but give it up for public advocate Jumaane Williams. My former seatmate in the city council. You know they put us in the back row with all the kids who misbehaved. What are you gonna do? Now, we borough presidents are a very close tribe. We talk every day. And I am thrilled that here with us now is my sister, the co-sponsor of the Right to Counsel legislation, the current president of the Boogie Down Bronx. Give it up for Vanessa Gibson. We got a bunch of other great leaders here today. Give it up for Assemblymember Jordan Wright, Alex Torres, Jennifer Raj Kumar, our wonderful home assembly member. Give it up for Linda Rosenthal. Give it up for Harvey Epstein. We have incredible members of the New York City Council. Give it up for Eric Botcher, Keith Powers, my phenomenal predecessor, the incomparable Gail Brewer. And give it up for Julie Menon. None of what I do, none of what I have done would be possible without my wonderful family, who I love very much. My wife, Evilise, who's unfortunately home with COVID right now. Don't worry, I'm good. Our wonderful son, Daniel, who is now in Philadelphia. He's at nursing school at Temple University. He's gonna be the best employed of all of us. But we got my son, our son, Alejandro here. Could you please stand up, Alejandro? There he is. He has just become a New York State certified EMT. How about that? Very proud of him. Bienvenidos a todas y a todos. Esto se va a hacer bilingüe, ¿está bien? Ok. Si me están entendiendo, háganme un poco de bulla para yo saber. Bueno. Bienvenidos a nuestro discurso del estado del condado. El condado que está en el mismo medio del universo. Me refiero al condado de Manhattan. Alguna gente de los Bronx no le gusta eso, pero ahí es así. ברוכים הבאים לכולם וכולם. התכנסנו כאן ביחד היום כדי לחגוג את רובע מנהטן האהוב שלנו. The rest of the speech will be in Greek. You got me? All right. Welcome to LaGuardia High School. Without a doubt, the most prestigious arts public school in America, am I right? In these halls, on this stage, young people explore the power of music, dance, theater, the fine arts, and more. And whether they go on to careers in the arts or not, these lessons will stay with them for the rest of their lives. Welcome to the historic neighborhood of San Juan Hill. Let me explain. You know what I'm talking about. That's what this neighborhood used to be known as, a historically black and Puerto Rican community in the early 20th century that played a crucial role in New York City's music and social history. It's here that giants like Thelonious Monk and James Johnson and so many cultural icons emerged until the neighborhood was raised by Robert Moses. Welcome to today's neighborhood of Lincoln Square and Lincoln Center, the world's most prestigious performing arts venue, home to the greatest opera, the greatest philharmonic, the greatest ballet in the world, powered by thousands of union workers. And welcome to the borough of Manhattan, home to 1.7 million New Yorkers who have made this one of the most vibrant and diverse places on earth, the global center of arts, innovation, and activism. Tragically, we have just lost one of those 1.7 million Manhattanites, the great Hazel Ann Dukes. Dr. Dukes was a civil rights icon, a driving force for justice, a matriarch in Harlem and far beyond, vital and influential and unafraid even at age 92. I was honored to call her a friend. I spoke to her just a little over a week before her passing, and she was as sharp as ever. I will miss Hazel Dukes dearly. Give her a big round of applause. Manhattan has come through some tough times in recent years, and we are again facing some tough challenges today. I know all of you are feeling it. A housing affordability crisis, real public safety challenges, a broken mental health system, all against the backdrop of relentless attacks from Washington on immigrant families, on the LGBTQ+ community, attacks on our budget and our economy. But Manhattanites and New Yorkers do not sit back when times are tough. We fight back. We organize, we lead, we come together, and it's because of that spirit, because of you, that I am absolutely confident that our borough and our city won't just survive this tough time, we will come through this stronger, just as we have come back from every crisis in our history. Let me hear it if you agree. And let me tell you that my incredible team is working its heart out every day to support you, to get results for Manhattan, and to solve the biggest problems we are facing in this borough. Led by Deputy Borough President Aya Keefe and Deputy Borough President Keisha Sutton-James. Our constituent service team is providing support out of our always bustling Northern Manhattan office on 125th Street. Last year, over 3,300 New Yorkers came through those doors and got help from our team. I'd like to ask all of the Manhattan Borough President's team to please stand so we can applaud for you. They're on the side, they're in the backstage. Trust me, they're here. We love you. You inspire me. So many of you in this room have stepped up to volunteer, to lead for your neighborhood, for your borough in incredibly impactful ways. Let's give a big hand to all the community board chairs and community board members, past and present, who are with us today. You are out in the streets of your communities, fighting to improve every block, sitting through an occasional 5-hour committee meeting. That ain't easy, I know, trust me. Thank you for all you do. Many of you have stepped up to serve our young people, by volunteering to lead in our schools as members of community education councils and the PEP. Thank you, Marielle Ali. And thank you to all the PA presidents and PA members. Give them a big round of applause. So grateful for you showing up for our kids. Let's give all our education leaders one more round of applause, including our teachers, because you can't have great schools without wonderful teachers. We love you. In fact, shout out to all the labor here today. Union workers keep this city running. You keep us safe. You keep us healthy. You're building our future. I'm proud to stand with labor today and every day. I'm also grateful to another group of leaders, our NYCHA Tennis Association presidents and TA board members. I've been honored to work with all of you. Our city owes you and your residents a solution to the decades of neglect and underinvestment in public housing. You have my pledge that I am all in with you in that fight. For every obstacle that we face as a borough, there are Manhattanites who are stepping up to find solutions, to organize for action, to directly serve people in need. And today, we're going to be highlighting many of those everyday Manhattan heroes. Despite their efforts, there's no getting around it. We need government to do better at every level. We need a city government that solves problems for New Yorkers, that invests in creating opportunity for everyone, that cares for the vulnerable, that defends our people and our values and our finances when they're under attack from Washington or anywhere. Today, I want to talk to you about what we can do together to make city government work better for the people of this city. We'll talk about everything from subways to street trees, and you better believe it, housing. If we're going to come together to take on these challenges, we must start by standing up to rising levels of hate in this city. The number of hate crimes occurring here has been steadily increasing year after year since 2016, reaching their highest level ever in the past year. Hatred against Asian American New Yorkers who were viciously targeted during the pandemic and have suffered repeated bias attacks since, including last week's vandalism of the beloved Sun Tak Buddhist temple in Chinatown. Hatred against Black New Yorkers and the grinding long-term effects of racism, which directly impacts your physical and mental health, manifesting in the unacceptably high wealth gap between manifesting itself in the unacceptably high gap between Black and white maternal mortality in the city, as well as the unacceptably high wealth gap that we must do more to address. Hatred against our Muslim neighbors who have suffered a steady rise in Islamophobic attacks in recent years, and Sikh New Yorkers who have been targeted as well. Hatred against my fellow Jewish New Yorkers who make up only 13% of the city's population, but are a target of a horrific 54% of hate crimes here. To young people who now hide their Star of David pendants at school. To those who feel safer wearing a baseball cap over their yarmulke in public, I say our city cannot and will not accept this. We will fight back against the alarming rise of anti-Semitism. Nitgabel b'yachad, na'avor et ze b'yachad, ani mavtiach. I mentioned to you before that today we're highlighting Manhattanites who are stepping up and leading. So I want to acknowledge one leader who has been at the forefront of the fight against anti-Semitism here for years, Cheryl Fishbein, president of the Jewish Community Relations Council of New York City, an invaluable partner for me and my team. Please give it up for Cheryl Fishbein. And to our beloved LGBTQ plus community, no matter what hatred is coming out of Washington, we will never stop supporting you and defending you. We will never allow you to be erased. And yes, that includes trans youth, even and especially when they come under attack by local community boards. And I want to highlight a Manhattan leader, Elena Daniels, who is fighting for trans youth to feel safe and supported in our schools. Elena, can you stand up? Let's give Elena a round of applause, and let's commit to fighting alongside them. I just got a text that I didn't acknowledge an incredible Assembly member, Manny Del Santos. Manny, are you still here, bro? Ya se fue, figúrense. I want to focus for a moment on what may be the most vulnerable of all New Yorkers, people suffering with severe mental illness who are living unsheltered on our streets, in our parks, and on our subways. Why is this happening? Why are our fellow New Yorkers not receiving the treatment that they need? To answer that question, in part, you need to know what's happening at Manhattan's only state psychiatric hospital. Does anyone know where that is? It's on Ward's Island or Randall's Island. This facility is huge. At its peak, it held over 4,000 patients. Today, it only has a little over 400. We have largely gotten out of the business of providing long-term inpatient care for people with severe mental illness. This has left too many instead suffering on the street. That's why I'm calling for expanded capacity at the Randall's Island Hospital. I have also called for investing more in mental health care at Bellevue, where today there are shockingly few long-term beds for psychiatric patients. To meet the needs of this expanded care, we need an expanded workforce. Today we are facing a severe shortage of staff in all the psychiatric professions: doctors, nurses, therapists. That's why I've called for a student loan forgiveness program for all psychiatric professionals who commit to work at least 3 years in our public hospitals. I want to acknowledge one Manhattanite who's already doing critical mental health work in our borough, Patricia Haversham Brown. Stand up, Patricia, who leads the intensive mobile treatment cases team at Cases, making sure we're reaching vulnerable New Yorkers in the street, and she travels with her fan club. We love that, Patricia. She's helping connect patients on the street to the care they need. Please give her another big round of applause. While the stats show that crime overall in Manhattan and New York City is thankfully down so far in 2025, thank you, Alvin Bragg, we are still above pre-pandemic levels, and New Yorkers are telling us they simply don't feel safe enough. I'm excited that we're making progress on safety in key neighborhoods, thanks to an innovative multi-agency partnership pioneered on 125th Street with the vision of local bid director Barbara Askins, and now in place as well in Midtown, led by Barbara Blair of the Garment Center bid and Tom Harris of the Times Square Alliance. In these neighborhoods, DA Alvin Bragg is working together with the NYPD, the Department of Sanitation, Department of Health and Mental Hygiene, Department of Buildings, Homeless Services, Parks, and more, all working together to improve conditions on the street. Thanks to this coordination and a surge in resources, both 125th Street and Midtown have already seen safety and quality of life improvements. And I'm thrilled that this partnership model is next going to be applied in Washington Square Park, where there has been persistent challenges with drug sales, and other safety issues. In every neighborhood, the work of the local precinct requires strong community partnerships. And I want to highlight the leadership of Keoka Jackson, the outstanding president of the 25th Precinct Community Council. Is Keoka here? There she is. She covers 125th. She's been a critical partner for our office and has worked relentlessly on behalf of safety uptown. Please give Keoka another big round of applause. We should have had one of those Broadway spotlights for all the local leaders. In 2024, tragically, We also had safety challenges on our streets and sidewalks because of moving vehicles. We lost 123 pedestrians and 24 cyclists who were killed on our streets and sidewalks last year. Every one of those lives lost is a neighbor, a friend, and a family member. That's why we need better enforcement for everything that moves on our streets. Whether e-bikes, mopeds, or cars. And we urgently need to crack down on the rising epidemic of fake, obstructed, defaced, and simply missing vehicle license plates. We also need to crack down on the aforementioned epidemic of scaffolding. We got 4,000 sidewalk sheds on the streets of Manhattan alone. You don't see this in any other city in the world. Not in American cities like Chicago, not in European cities like Paris. In those cities, if they figured it out, we can do it here in New York as well. We can update our rules so that when scaffolding needs to go up, we have it reformed and more limited by an updated local law 11. We can penalize building owners who refuse to take unnecessary sidewalk sheds down. And when sheds do need to be up to actually protect pedestrians, we can make them a little less ugly. I have some good news for you. Later this week, the New York City Council will actually be voting on a transformative package of legislation to make these very changes. Thanks to the lead sponsors who have been working for years on this. Councilmember Keith Powers, Councilmember Eric Botcher. Now, we want fewer sidewalk sheds in this town, but one thing we want more of is trees. You knew I was gonna say that. Trees aren't just pretty to look at, they are essential infrastructure for this city. They clean our air, they absorb carbon dioxide, they catch storm runoff, cool neighborhoods on hot days. But there is enormous inequality in where these trees are planted. There are far fewer trees in East Harlem or Chinatown or the South Bronx than there are in wealthy neighborhoods. To close this equity gap and to make all of New York City healthier, I've joined all 4 of my fellow borough presidents, yes, even Staten Island Vito Fossella, in calling for 1 million more trees to be planted in New York City. This will make it possible for us to achieve the critical goal of 30% green canopy cover for our city. While we've also got a ways to go towards this goal, there are Manhattanites who are already making progress on the ground, including Mary Tong, an activist in Chinatown who's securing planting of dozens of trees in parts of that neighborhood that lack them. Please give Mary Tong a big round of applause. Thank you, Mary. Whether on the streets or in actual parks, all trees are great, but our city's green spaces can only thrive thanks to an army of workers who maintain a park system used by hundreds of millions of people every year. Shout out to our parks workers. Local 1505. Fighting for this vital workforce will be one of my top priorities in this year's budget fight. I will also continue to fight in this year's budget for arts and culture, which is critical to our economy, which brings us together, which challenges us. The arts are more important for New York City than ever. And I am thrilled that there are transformative cultural projects underway all over our borough, every one of which my office has been able to help fund. In Harlem, the one and only Apollo Theater is about to undergo a more than $50 million renovation, bringing this iconic venue into the 21st century with expansion and upgrades to the lobby, soundstage, dressing room, facade, and more. Maybe we'll do a next year's speech at the Apollo. What do you say? Here on the Upper West Side, Get ready for the American LGBTQ plus museum, first of its kind in the nation, part of a collaboration with the New York Historical Society dedicated to preserving, researching, and sharing LGBTQ plus history and culture. In Inwood, give it up for Inwood. On 207th Street, coming soon, is our city's first ever Dominican American Cultural Center, years in the making, that will serve as a cultural home for the large and growing Dominican diaspora in New York. Ya era tiempo, coño. You actually gotta beep that out on the Spanish version. Sorry about that, guys. I don't know if Congressmember Espaillat is still here. All right, good. Para que no me regañe después, ya ustedes saben. In the East Village, give it up for the East Village people. At the once vacant site of the former Boys Club, the Joyce Theater has opened a new home for dance. It will provide desperately needed affordable rehearsal, studio, and performance space for dance companies from all over the city. And East Harlem, give it up for East Harlem, on 125th Street, the National Black Theater will soon open a new mecca for the arts with a new theater, exhibition space, job training, and 222 units of housing, including deeply affordable apartments. Also here on the Upper West Side, the Metro Theater, an Art Deco gem that has been vacant for decades, is finally coming back to life. It will be the new home of a nonprofit art house film center. Shout out to Assemblymember Micah Lasher, who fought so hard to make this possible. On 96th Street and Central Park West, get ready for a spectacular new home for the Children's Museum of Manhattan. And a formerly abandoned church, this will more than double the space of this beloved institution, helping to anchor a new museum mile here on the West Side. But the East Side is not standing still, because after a major 5-year renovation and expansion, the Frick Collection is reopening in just a few weeks. It's already getting rave reviews, with the New York Times dubbing it nothing short of poetic. Are you guys psyched about all these projects? So many great places for the families of this city to visit. But our families don't just need us to support the arts. They need us to solve the affordability crisis. They need us to solve the child care crisis. Any parents of young kids here today know exactly what I'm talking about. Private child care in this city often costs more than $20,000 per year. This is unaffordable to a staggering 80% of New York families, leaving many parents no choice but to drop out of the workforce to care for their children. We must do better. We can do better. And the UPK and 3K programs point the way. While these programs are not perfect, they have transformed the lives of 3- and 4-year-olds and their families in the city. That's why I'm proposing extending this model down to toddlers and infants, drawing on capacity from school-based, center-based, and home-based providers so that there's access to free, universal child care in every neighborhood of this city. With decent pay for child care workers, with better contracts for providers, less paperwork for parents. We can do this. It's an investment worth making. It will yield huge economic benefits as parents are able to re-enter the workforce. Let's make free universal child care happen in New York City. And I want to shout out 2 leaders who are already fighting for this and who are already delivering results. Rebecca Balin, founder of New Yorkers United for Child Care, mobilizing a citywide coalition on behalf of the city. I think Rebecca already stood up and sat down. Okay, thank you. And Mary Cheng of the Chinese American Planning Council, who oversees high-quality early childhood services around the city. Please give it up for Rebecca Balin and Mary Cheng. Thank you. There is no fight which is more urgent than the fight to address our housing affordability crisis, which is now the worst it has been in our city's history. The average rents in Manhattan for market rate apartments as of this month are now a stunning $5,368 per month. That ain't right. For 2 bedrooms, specifically, it's $6,510 per month. For 3 bedrooms in Manhattan, the average rent now, as of this month, is $10,069 per month. Raise your hand if you can afford those rents. I don't know who's renting those apartments, but whoever they are, they clearly couldn't be bothered to come to hear this speech today. We are staring at a future where none of us can afford to live in our own borough of Manhattan. For low-income families, this is devastating. It is directly contributing to our homelessness crisis. There are families in our shelter today because of those astronomical rents. 1 in 8 public school children was homeless at one point in the last school year because of those astronomical rents. But it's not just low-income families. Bus drivers, nurses, teachers are getting pushed out of Manhattan as well. And for young people who've grown up here in our amazing borough, your kids, my kids, we're giving them almost no hope of living here when they need to get a place of their own. We will lose the next generation of Manhattanites unless we address this housing affordability crisis. We may even force people to move to Jersey, God forbid. Can't let that happen. Oh, good, I love Jersey, love Jersey. Sopranos, one of my favorite series. When market rate apartments do open up in Manhattan, there are literally bidding wars. And low-income and working-class people are definitely not winning those bidding wars. The landlords, however, are making out like bandits. There's no getting around it. We desperately need to build more housing in this city so that the people of this city can afford to continue living here. One obvious place to do this is the vast number of vacant office buildings we have in this borough. This is not a pipe dream. This is already happening. 25 Water Street in the financial district, built in 1969. Not really a beauty. It's about to be. Because this behemoth of an office building that sat vacant until recently is about to be converted to housing with no less than 1,300 units. This will be the largest residential conversion in American history. And this project will include affordable apartments with rents, listen to this, as low as $1,116 per month for a 2-bedroom apartment. Applications are open right now online for those apartments. You gotta join HPD Connect. And if you don't know how to do that, come by my district office on 125th Street. We got you. And soon, an even bigger project will be underway from the former headquarters of Pfizer on 42nd Street, which is about to undergo a residential conversion. That's not Pfizer. That will yield no less than 1,500 apartments. We need many more of these office residential conversions all over Midtown. Thanks to the City Council's passage of the City of Yes zoning plan, now this will be possible. Applaud for the city council. They did something big. And thanks to the state legislature, including Chair of the Assembly State Housing Committee, Linda Rosenthal, and Chair of the New York State Senate Housing Committee, Brian Kavanaugh, when those buildings are converted, they will have affordable units. Applaud for our state legislature. And you guys can wave. They're right here in the front row, smiling. Rightly so. Next up is the Midtown South rezoning, covering 42 blocks between 23rd Street and 40th Street, between 5th Avenue and 8th Avenue. By rezoning this area to allow for housing, we could unleash the creation of over 9,000 homes, 2,800 of which will be affordable, creating a vibrant 24/7 mixed-use community in an area which is now suffering from significant vacancy. What do you guys think of that? Sounds good, right? There are many, many local heroes across our borough who are fighting to create the housing we so desperately need. And I want to shout out one of the best, Karen Dixon, who chairs the Land Use Committee on Community Board 10 in Harlem, and who has been a strong and trusted voice in favor of bold action to address our housing affordability crisis. Please give it up again for Karen Dixon. Yes, we face some big challenges now. All of it made more difficult by an administration in Washington that is targeting our economy, our budget, and our people. But here in Manhattan, we're not going to back down from these challenges. At this difficult moment, we are stepping up to support each other, especially our immigrant neighbors who are experiencing so much fear and anxiety now. That's the work that leaders like Mino Lora are doing every day. Give it up for Mino Lora. Parte Mino. She leads the People's Theater Project uptown, which is giving immigrant young people a voice in the arts, and they're about to open a fabulous new home on 206th Street. I can't wait. Leaders like Maria Lizardo, helping meet the needs of immigrant families for housing, legal assistance, and other help at Northern Manhattan Improvement Organization. We love you, NEMIC. Leaders like Adama Ba, who is directly supporting asylum seekers at her nonprofit called Africana. Give it up for Mino, Maria, and Adama. They exemplify the fighting spirit of this borough and city. They, you, we will not stop fighting on behalf of the greatest city in the world. I know the haters on Twitter might not agree, but we know there is no place on earth like Manhattan. Because there's only one Apollo Theater, there's only one LaGuardia High School, there's only one Stonewall Inn, there's only one Doyer Street in Chinatown, there's only one Museo del Barrio, there's only one Little Red Lighthouse, if you know, you know, there's only one Rock Center, and there's definitely only one Manhattan. We will not start fighting for it. Dr. Dukes would not want us to stop fighting for it. We will not stop fighting to make Manhattan more affordable. We will not stop fighting to make Manhattan healthier, safer, greener, cleaner, more equitable for all. You ready to fight for Manhattan? You ready to fight for New York City? Hagamos esta visión realidad. Por el bien de nuestros niños, por el bien de nuestro futuro. Thank you so much. Muchísimas gracias. Toda raba. Thank you so much, Manhattan. I love you.